Okay, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Yisrael Shabbat Nafshi in Yerushalayim Kodesh. We're located on Kanakim Yisrael Batul Knesset on the post of Yaakov number 6, and we're close to the central bus station, so you can walk from there, you can take a bus, you can drive if you have your own car. Good morning, Rocky. And if you're coming from Chutz La'aretz, you can stop in and join us when you fly to Eretz Yisrael. We're learning now a subtopic of our general topic of Pirkei Avos, that the Gemara in Baba Basra makes a statement, Chacham is Eidif Minavi. That a Chacham is more advantageous than a Navi. Yesterday we learned the Marshal says in his Kedushin of Goddess in the Dorim, what does the Gemara mean? It says in the Marshal there, Hakikam at the Milas HaChochma Aidifa Minavua. That it's not that a Chacham is Aidif Minavi, because there's almost all the portion explained, Navi by definition has to be a Chacham as well. Right? So we can't compare one thing to the next in terms of the people, but in terms of the aspect of Chachma, wisdom, and the aspect of prophecy, right? So the aspect of wisdom is more advantageous than that of Nevuah. And now we're going to explain, we did this a little yesterday, we're going to explain a little bit more why, and we'll go into some more details. Let's just take another look at the Kedushi Maharal Mikrag that's on this Gemara, the second paragraph. We did that yesterday. Let's do it again as a review. Bachman, you'd like to read that for us to start with? Masha Amru Chacham Aidif Minavi. Have it there. It's in the about in the middle of the page. There's the Kedushi Maharal, and in the second paragraph.
Masha Amru?
Yeah, Masha Amru.
Masha Amru Chacham Aidif Minavi ki Chanivua Ubechada
Bechida
Bechida
Ubemayra.
Ubemayra.
I mean, a Navi gets his message from a Kadosh Baruch Hu through symbolism, Chida symbolism, or through a vision. Okay?
כאילו החכם יודע
Learn the practice. And the Chacham Yodea HaNe'elam, and the Chacham knows what is hidden. Ne'elam is hidden.
והבלתי ידוע.
And what is not known. Right? So the Chacham will know what's hidden and what's not known. La'acher, to other people. How? He explains.
לא במראה ולא בחידות. Not with a vision and not with a riddle.
How then? If he's not going to know it through a vision, the Chacham doesn't get his understanding of things, and the message he wants to communicate in his intelligence is not coming through visionary and symbolic information.
רק הוא משיג השגה ברורה, אשר השם יתברך מוציא, שכל אדם, שכל אדם? שכל אדם.
He must see seichel
שכל אדם, מן הכוח אל הפועל.
So let's try and understand what this means. The Maharal is being very meduyak, very exacting in his expressions, and they're very profound. So let's try and realize what he's saying here. Okay, a Chacham doesn't get his information that he wants to communicate to other people. He doesn't get his wisdom through symbolism or visionary descriptions. Rak Masid Hasaga Buri, he achieves a clear understanding through which HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings about through the seichel of Adam, that a person's seichel shall bring from Korach El Apol through seichel. Seichel is a tool which HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us. It's part of our apparatus of intelligence. Memory is part of it, right? Imagination is part of it, right? So seichel is also part of our intelligent apparatus as human beings. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives everybody seichel, and through seichel we're supposed to bring out things from potential to fruition. Yeah, Matt, do you want to say something?
I just said he gives everybody seichel, some more, some less.
Of course, everyone has. They're just like a person has. There are different I always like to say when we're learning Parshas Shmos now, so that means we're getting closer and closer to Parshas Yisro, that the Rashi brings down when we came to Maimon Bar Sinai. So Kadosh Baruch Hu was Marapa, all those who were sick, all those who were lame, all those who were blind, right? Anyone who had any physical disabilities, the Kadosh was made them shalom. But it doesn't say he made everyone intelligent. Meaning, whatever intelligence that people came out of Mitzrayim with, mashma, they came to Har Sinai with those that intelligence. They didn't have to be geniuses to Makabel the Torah. Yeah, Yisrael.
Now what happens if someone had a mental disability?
Where? At Har Sinai.
Well, before.
Meaning at any time. So
Someone who's Chashon Torah, that should make them.
right, so they have Yisrael is asking time in general. So everybody has a certain amount of intelligence, seichel, as Mati mentioned, that some people have more and some people less. Right? Sometimes their intelligence is disabled, just like person's eyesight, Hashem can be disabled. Anything that Hashem gives us as a blessing can be given in different various amounts, and can be shalom at the beginning, and sometimes it can be disabled. Right?
So didn't Hashem make them smart? Didn't Hashem change around the Torah?
Not the Rashi doesn't mention it. It does. I've never seen a chazal that people at Har Sinai became smart.
So any person with any blemishes became smart. People who were disabled became intelligent.
If they were lame, they could walk. If they were blind, they could see. But it doesn't say if they were not intelligent, they became intelligent.
So didn't Hashem give them more intelligence?
It doesn't say it, so I can't tell you.
It's called Dordea. It's called Dordea.
They also, everyone there saw what they saw, and they were able to masik. It says the Shifka Alayam saw more than the prophets, but that's in terms of their vision of what they were able to see. Right? But in terms of intelligence, Kabbalah Sutra wasn't necessarily dependent on intelligence. Let's continue with the
So a person in the Torah makes a small person, a simple person wise, right?
Torah Hashem Tamima, Mashivas Nefesh. The Torah, ruling Torah itself makes a person
You can
intelligent.
change one's intelligence.
Yeah, for sure. Especially through Torah. Okay. Continue with them. So, Chacham,
Yodea Atidot. Knows the future also. Probably. So Yodea Mesig. He knows and he achieves the way of Hashem, B'chei Hashem. Imro'el Fanav.
So one second. So it says here that the Chacham, just as the prophet will sometimes be told about the future, Chacham through intelligence will see the future as well. They say so the Shem L'Reyav, and you have similar expressions that Kadosh Baruch Hu will allow those who have the Chacham of Torah to be able to see. How is that? The Maral says a little bit more, going into the details. Gamkein, how are you there?
Gamkein, שהרי יודע משיג דרכי השם, ואם רואה לפניו רשע, משיג שכך יהיה לו לעתיד, emphasis for him רשע, and he achieves שכך יהיה לו לעתיד, and this will be for him in the future. וכן כל הדברים, all the things, עד שאם הוא חכם וגדול, בכל הדעת, he can know the future, שיבוא יותר מן הנביא, more so than הנביא.
Why? He explains why. He ain't a double of the Mikra.
כי אין דבר במקרה, רק הכל הוא מסודר, ממנו יתברך. There's no coincidence, everything's from Hashem. והוא יתברך בא ממנו סדר שכלי. והוא יתברך, Hashem is coming from בא ממנו, from him, בסדר שכלי.
With divine intelligence, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was running this world with divine intelligence. So therefore a person who has Chokhmah can somewhat get closer to that and understand that divine intelligence. Therefore, if given the proper situation and the proper wisdom, he can even see the future.
ולכך אדם שהוא חכם יודע אף עתידות. ודאס, החכם, wise man, יודע, he also knows the future.
Okay, very good.
It's interesting that intelligence navigates better. You can work on it a little bit, but not too much. Every year you get when you're born, that's it.
Yeah,
If you learn Torah, it improves.
so
It improves a little bit. But
well, again, intelligence. You have to take intelligence in a whole. As I said earlier, there are different aspects of intelligence. There's imagination, there's concentration, there's memory.
It's heredity. It's hereditary.
No, there's a little
some of it,
Yeah, but a person through Torah, we can become. They say about Gedolei Yisrael. They were baiting him. They weren't.
but none of them.
Some of them
got
were
smarter.
No, but they apply themselves and they become great.
To me, it seems that most of them were smart. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
You have to have a minimal
Yeah,
I mean,
perception.
no, but that's what I said. But from Harsino, you see,
Then
a person
they were not-
Torah is given for people with basic intelligence. You don't have to be a genius, right,
Yeah.
to understand Torah. Yeah. There have been geniuses in Klal Yisrael, from the time of very early age. The Goyen was known to be a genius, and many, but not all Gedolei Torah have been, and Tzaddikim have been geniuses. That's not a requirement.
Steinman, I think, was not a genius.
Yeah, you don't have to be a genius.
You need smart people. Without smart people, the Torah will not be transmitted from generation to generation.
Right, and don't forget, we're talking about here
Smart
wisdom.
people.
Wisdom is beyond intelligence. There are many people who are intelligent and not wise. Wisdom means to be able to apply what you know in a wise fashion, in a proper way. Right? Many intelligent people are not necessarily wise. Take a look at this last point. Brings down, I believe, from the Chazon Ish, that also a definition, explanation. Last paragraph on the first page. And you have it there, Rachmi, you want to continue reading?
Dear Pam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, Pam Rabbeinu, I think that's a reference to the Rav Chazon Ish.
Okay. Dear Pam Rabbeinu, מה שאמרו חכם עדיף מנביא, אמר הנה הנביא, יקבע דבר השם אחת בזמן.
Moshe Yisrael.
ומוסר ישראל.
Right. The Navi receives the word from Hashem at one time, right, and transfers it over to the Yidden, to the Jewish people. He uses the lashon. Go ahead.
כה אמר השם,
Right.
כך וכך.
Right. He says Korma. He's speaking in the name of. He's actually like a conduit to relay the word of Hakadosh Baruch Hu to the Jewish people, or even sometimes to the Goyim. When Yonah went to Nineveh, he was relaying the word of Hakadosh Baruch Hu even to the non-Jews. So he says Korma Hashem, and then he relates the message to people who have to hear it. Ilu Chacham. However,
We see that in the inyan of proving the people Tochechot, Hashem used the Navi more than the Chacham, didn't he?
Yeah, don't continue because
בכל יום ויום, יהיו חכם,
in contrast, that the Navi gets a message at one point, and he's supposed to give that message at the point that it was given to Klal Yisrael. However, Ilu Chacham, in contrast, by a Chacham, right, it's not one time, or maybe a Navi can have many prophecies. If he's a great Navi, he have many prophecies. But sometimes a Navi may just have one prophecy in his whole life, right? And sometimes, though, even the things which were recorded in Tanakh, sometimes in Nevi'im, that was one prophecy one specific prophecy that he had. And many of the prophecies that they had were not always recorded, and many of the prophets that existed in Klal Yisrael were also not recorded. Right? Prophecy was not uncommon. It had to be worked on and achieved, but it was not uncommon.
יהיו חכם כל יום ויום, כל שעה ושעה.
After the Meidad in the Midbar, they were Nevi'im, Meeting, Am Hashem Nevi'im.
And they would do what they are.
We've done what you said.
And Moshe didn't say to them, Halavash, everybody should be a Chacham. He said, Halavash, everybody should be a Navi.
So, yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
why do you say that?
Because Chacham isn't Shaykh, and that's not up to you. The Navi maybe could work.
That's a good point. Well, I'll try and look into that, Rockman. It's a good
Okay.
point.
Even though he could still have said that everybody should be smart.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good point.
Someone they were already Chachamim already.
Mhm.
Do what they are, Midbar, do what they are.
Yeah.
No
No,
stam
but see,
do.
no, you see, I can't, but see, they had what they saw at the Yam Suf, everyone saw. What they saw at the Har Sinai, everyone saw. But that was as, that was one time. That was one time at the Yam Suf. Zekeli Ran, right? That was one time. They saw it at that moment, of those moments, right? Har Sinai, right? The whole Maimon Har Sinai, right? If I'm in the Swarm, they speak about that the whole Maimon Har Sinai took place from noontime till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Everybody died there.
Yeah, three times. Actually, the first mimer they heard, Yod Pokin Nishmosam. They brought back to life. Heard the second mimer, Pokin Nishmosam. Right? I think it was maybe one more, maybe in Makol, maybe another third time. I'm not sure. And after about mid-afternoon, Hashem said, okay, it was all over. That was it. Everybody go back home. Now they have to find. They have to say, yeah, sure. Life goes on as normal. I mean, for those who carried the vision with them, they carried the vision with them. But it was now over and done with, right? And obviously, Marahai Madrega, a person is obligated, if he has such a vision, he's obligated to live up to that vision that Kosh Baruch gives him, right? But nevertheless, right, it's not something, as we're saying, every day and every moment, right? Go ahead.
Who wrote Tav in his instructions?
Good.
Sheposek is posek.
Right, in his instructions that he decides.
That's in his advice that he gives. Musa is mishchari. Mishachrim. The mishachrim. The fitchon. I guess it's shachar, but shachar. Shacharit. The son shacharit.
I mean, I think most of the mashachrim, I think those who wait at his doorway, he's no saying Musa, gives the message to those who wait at his doorway, and it's as if he's saying Koram or Hashem. Right? People used to come to the Chazanish, you don't go to all the Israel. People are waiting online to receive what they hope and pray will be pure Torah advice from the Chacham. And he thinks it's the same category of Koram or Hashem. Koram or
I
Hashem.
think in Tanakh or even the Gemara, anybody's called stupid. Chochem maybe yes, but not stupid.
Shlomo not use Lashon
Aksil,
Ksil, but that's foolish. That's foolish. It's different than stupid. Foolish is a you got a screw loose here.
I think the Rambam called already some people.
Tipshim. Use Lashon Tipshim. There's a difference between Ksil and Tepish. I think Shlomo might also use Lashon Tepish. But that's something else. We can maybe just explore that one part. Okay, so it says over here, it goes further, right?
Kol Hashem, Off Hashem. The Off is kosher. Kol Hashem, Mezik Chayav. Mezik is Chayav. Kol Hashem. Who's saying this? The Rebbe or the Chacham?
No, the Chacham saying you come for your person's coming.
He's asking. He said, "This is what Hashem is. This is how Hashem says. It's chayav. It's not kosher."
Right, he's positing the
He's saying,
Shai.
this is the word of Hashem.
Yeah, but Hashem didn't say that to him.
No, but
that's what he's saying. It's the
because
word of Hashem.
how is
It's
the
letting
Chacham? How is it
him
when a Chacham is going to pass him, right?
That's what he says. Kol Hashem. That's what they say.
He's not saying so, but what it means is when he's passing his shaila, how is he passing his shaila? From his knowledge of Shash and Poskim. So Shash and Poskim is Kol Amar Hashem, right? That's what everything that the Chacham knows is based on the Torah, Tanakh, Mishnayos, Gemara, Poskim, right? All the way down the line till his very statement that this shtia is kosher, it's treif. This leaven is kosher, it's treif. This is ribis, this is not ribis, right? That's Kol Amar Hashem. It's a continuation of
He's
what's...
saying that because of the knowledge that Hashem gave us and passed down, that I learned that I can make this decision. I'm not making a decision, stam on my own. I've got I've got the word of Hashem to rely on based on all the
If,
rules and all the rule given.
Rob would say, "Come Hashem," he'd be considered a big shot. You know?
Oh, no, yeah. No, I mean, that doesn't mean that that's what he's saying, obviously. But there's nothing, Lo B'Shamayim, that's another
Yeah, no,
topic we could maybe explain. It's similar to Lo B'Shamayim, that's a whole other thing.
Besides, he can't be 100% sure, especially if it's a shayla.
Right.
I mean,
No,
it's
also
obvious,
now- so
it's
now-
obvious, but if it's a shayla, then he needs to shukr
Right.
then he can't say Kohen Hashem because he can't be so sure about it.
Okay, so now on the second page, if you turn over the page, I don't know if you got one from yesterday, so this is the advanced edition.
Okay.
Take a look what it says here. The second one we have here, the Shailan Shuvas Radvaz. He's going to quote the Rambam in the Hagdam of the Seder Zroim. I want you to see what it says over here. Okay, V'chein Zakin Moyer Einenu HaRambam. Right, this is the Radvaz, right, writing quoting the Rambam. Amram, you want to take over? Have it there.
והרמת הזוהים שנביא בעיון וסברה ובהשכל המצוות. That the Navi
What's this Rosh Hashanah?
Which
Bet Zion.
Bezeh Haloshin. Bezeh Haloshin. Right? Right. So it says Hanavi be'iyun v'svora v'seichel hamitzvos. So a Navi with analysis, analysis, and svora and profundity of thought and seichel intelligence of the mitzvahs, hu kasher chachamim. He is like other chachamim. As we said originally, every prophet needs to be a chacham as well, right? So he's saying basically that as well. Okay, continue.
Shem Kamo, that they're the same. She'en lahen nevuah, but they don't have nevuah.
Right, the chachamim don't have the nevuah, but a chacham, right, he has all the things, the aspects that chachamim have, but he has nevuah plus the chachma. Okay?
She'nevi she's var svara, when he analyzes svar, ve'isvor kamo chen mi she'eno.
The surah is like a concept. The surah is like a concept. He's understanding a concept.
I mean, he's one who is not a Navi, and he's working on the concept.
Meaning they're equal. Meaning when the Navi is trying to explain a concept, a prophet is explaining a concept, and also one who's not a Navi is explaining a concept. What do they say?
Vayomer Hanavi ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu amar lai svarati emet. And Navi says that Hashem gave him a concept, a true concept. Lo tishma elav, you don't listen to him.
Don't listen. If the Navi is going to come along saying, Hashem told me, I had a prophecy that my svora is emes, don't listen to him.
Oh, he's lying, he's lying.
What? That's not the point. You don't listen to him.
V'chen amru
It has no bearing. Like if you're like the Havdil in court, right? What do they say? Strike that from the records. Like when they say, that the jury's not supposed to take that into consideration.
V'chen amru be'mot kufbeis.
V'yavamis stop kufbeis.
Im yavo Eliyahu v'yomar choltzin b'sandal en shemilot. Even if Eliyahu comes,
right? He'll tell you a halacha. Eliyahu Navi was an authentic Navi, blishum sufik, and if he'll come and tell you a halacha, ain't shemilot. You don't listen to him. What does this mean?
She'ein lo sif v'lo legra b'mitzvah aderech b'nevuah b'shum panim, that you cannot add or take away from the mitzvahs because of nevuah in any way. V'chen im ya'id hanavi she'akadosh baruch hu amar lav she'adin b'mitzvot planikach, and also and therefore if a navi testifies that Hashem told him that the halacha of certain mitzvahs is in a certain way, v'chis varat planihi emet, and the concept, this person is true, Yarog HaNaviyahu. Then Yareg HaNaviyahu, you have to kill this Navi.
Shu Navi Sheker, because he's violating the very rules of Nevuah. Nevuah is not coming to tell us what's true, what's not true. The Nevuah is coming to give us a message from HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the Jewish people. Right?
She'en Torah nutuna achar HaNavi HaRishon, because no the Torah was not given after the first Navi.
I mean, I think that's a
Moshe-
reference to Moshe Rabbeinu.
The Ein Lo Sif Eligar, you cannot add and take away. Moshe Nemar, Lo Harash Nu Hakadosh Baruch Hu Limod Minam Navim. Hashem did not harash nu.
Shy.
To inherit it.
Inherit
To bequeath.
The mode and from learning from the Navim. Ela Minacham Echlef from the Chum. And Shisvarot Dia. People work in the concepts with them.
So Chacham is better than a Navi, right?
Chacham is better than another, right? Now, so just to finish up, you see here, this was based on what you told me yesterday about Mordecai, also by Esther.
But 15 of them.
Yeah, but I wrote down by Esther. Look at the next, it brings down the Gemara Megillah. Go ahead. Amar Shmuel bar Yehuda. So this is a perfect proof. Okay.
Shalcha lahem Esther lacham. Esther sent to the Chum.
So Esther, who was a Neviah, we'll see it. Go jump to the last line. You see the very last line. It says, "Esther Nemra." This is from the Seder Olam, which you see that was based on a brisa from the Tana of Rabbi Yosef ben Chalafta. Right. So Esther is one of the Zion Neviot. Right. So you see that she was a Neviot. Right. Zion Neviot Shingavel and Yisrael. So Esther was a Neviah. Right. Nevertheless, she had to send to the Chachamim. She had to ask from the Chachamim. Go ahead, Kavati the doors, that they should put down the Megillah Esther.
Shalchula, they said, Ken'a et Ameoret Aleinu Leven Amot. There'll be jealousy between us and the
They will
neighbors.
see this if we put it down as an open book. They're going to become jealous of us.
Shalchalam, she's answered, Kavar Ketuva Ani Al Divrei Yamim Lemalchem Madai Paras. It's already written in the very about Madai and Paras. Rav Chanina, Rav Yochanan, Rav Chaviva Matnu. They agree?
Masnu. The dot's out of place. Bekulia say
learning.
Let they learn, right? Bekulia say the moed.
Bekulia b'seder moed. Seder moed. Kol hi hai gova chalofim.
Zuga
chalofim. Yochanan.
You have to change the name. To change everything. That's a point I got. One more point.
Shachalayim es lachamim ketveni. They wrote it for generations.
So she had to ask again. She had to ask again. So you see, Esther, who was a Neviah, right? She couldn't say she has a Nevuah that the Esther Megillah has to be Kovel Ador. She couldn't say that if they would, she'd be violating the rules of prophecy. She had to ask from the Chachamim that to make a change in legal situations and status of Klal Yisrael, the Torah of Klal Yisrael, you have to make that only through the understanding of the Chachamim. And therefore you see that Chacham is and Chachma rather, Chachma is idea from Nevuah.
But that leads to the question, if Nevi'im could not give over halacha based on their Nevuah, why are they involved in, why are they specifically involved in the transmission? We have Yeshua to the Zakanim. Okay, the Zakanim were learning people, that's fine. Okay, and the Nevi'im go into Anshe Knesset Gedola, which also Zakanim, through their learning. But the issue of the Nevi'im, why Dafka the Nevi'im, why didn't it simply continue through Chachamim, Zakanim who were in that generation? I mean, the Nevi'im weren't necessarily paid because they were Nevi'im, because you wouldn't learn halacha through Nevuah. So that the fact that they were Nevi'im wouldn't help them as far as learning and passing the Masorah on. It was kind of orthogonal what they were doing. They didn't need you didn't need to be a Navi in order to pass it on. So why Dafka Nevi'im were given it?
Okay, so I've been thinking about this. Related to your question is that, again, the Masorah that we've been talking about is not the Masorah of the actual halachas of Torah B'Ksav and Torah B'Ksav. There's much more involved with it, right? And that's what we mentioned earlier, that we had, maybe we'll start going from this point to the next point of the Gemara that explains, Rashi, brings it down, that this Kate said, Seder HaMishnah, how did Moshe teach the Torah whether he received from Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? So Yeshua was not listed in that Seder, right? Yeshua was
Right.
not, and as a matter of fact, I saw in the same Shmuel asked the question. He said, it's in Furst Gemara, Rashi Miyan Kumash, and Yeshua, who was the one that was told, Moshe was Moshe to Yeshua, that he wasn't in that Seder. So there are 2 or 3 different explanations about that. We'll have to stop now to go, but the Nevuah, that since every Navi was also a Chacham, right? Right. So he had the qualifications of the Torah being given over to him. The question was, and I think this is the point, that Zakanim, that the period of Zakanim came to an end at a certain particular point, meaning Zakanim had a certain connotation in terms of the specific sense, not in terms of the generic sense, because we see that there was a Zakanim made up of the Anshikas Gedolah, right? So I think that the Nevi'im were now the next people that were able to assume that role of giving over this Masorah from one generation to the next. Why? And see, and in a certain way, go ahead. What's your question?
Was there a person during that time period who was a Chacham, who was not a Navi, which is certain, Doeg? We know Doeg was, was completely Talmud Chacham.
Right.
Okay, not necessarily he would be one that you would use as an example of passing on the Masorah, but there was certainly Chachamim during that period who are not Nevi'im.
Sure. There's a machlokas if Shlomo Melech was a Navi or not. There's a machlokas.
Okay.
Was he a Navi or not? No, he didn't have them. He wasn't the symbol, the absolute pinnacle, apex of Torah in his generation. Certainly he was.
Okay.
So, and also when we say here there were Memches Nevi'im and Zayin Nevi'os, right? That's
That was the
Doros, right? So there are other Nevi'im, right, that were not, they spoke locally, they spoke...
Right, it wasn't a Nevuah for the generation.
Right. So we have to still clarify what this translation period between the Zakanim to the Nevi'im is and how that eventually brought us into the Anshe Knesset Gedolah. That's exactly where we are. Very good. That's you on the button. That's exactly where we're holding.
Okay.
Maybe that's why, back to before, that's what it says, Halayim Ksuvim al Malchei Madai Furst at the end of the Megillah.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to say it?
Because they've already got the jealousy, but you said it's already published. It's public. Everybody, it's already free. So the question, you can't use that as a reason not to publish it.
And another comment was wondering that in Tanakh there's no mention of that anyhow lachas. Except in the Megillah maybe.
They say
but
by
the whole
Yeshua,
Tanakh there's nothing about that.
Right, the Gemara says Lula that Klal Yisrael had not sinned, there would be no need for Tanakh. Except there were a couple of dinim in Yeshua and
I explained a little bit. They want to make sure it's 2 separate departments.
Well, there are a lot. We make a lot of limudim. That's what they will get. Hold on to
Learn
that.
from it. Beremez. Ramazgel means the Talmid Chachomim.
Right.
It's written like everything in Ramazgel.
Right.
When it says that Sholem David had machlokes if you can be Makadish with the Milva. But that means hidden. This explains that maybe want to keep it separate.
Right.
The Abi and Allah has 2 things.
Right. More than that, the Gemara says that ein melamdin divrei Torah min-nevi'im.
Right.
You don't divrei Torah. So what does that mean? Because you can't say that we waited for let's say there's some type of a limud made from a pasuk in Yirmiyah. You can't say that the Torah waited till Yirmiyah to come on the scene to make that halacha, right? So it's even deeper than that because Batsim, the truth is that we always knew from Moshe Rabbeinu all the way down what the exact dinim of Torah were. Okay, sometimes they were forgotten. Sometimes through the Yud Gimel Midas Torah and the Joshua, you could revive it and redevelop it and elaborate it and discover it again. But there was no sfeikis when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Har Sinai. He taught Torah exactly as Hashem wants Jewish people to keep the Torah. Right? So all what's in the Gemara, all the Gezer Shabbos, all the Yud Gimel Midas Joshua, these are basically devices to make sure we don't forget the Torah. Right? I mean, we have to remember right now what we have is everything in print. We have everything in, there's a mishbur, we have everything, but you have to remember when you try to imagine, I can't hardly even imagine what it's like to remember Kol Torah Kula, right? Knowing exactly what you have to do at every single given situation throughout the whole lifespan of a person, to know that and to remember it, and so you had to have, aside from memorizing the Torah, and you had to memorize Tanakh and everything like. So you had to. So what's brought down in the Sfarim is one of them, particularly the Talmud, of the Rashba says specifically. He says that really all the Tanoim and Amorim knew exactly what everything was, but some had. And what's the Maklokas you find in the Gemara? Some understood it was easier to learn from this type of a limud, to remember it and to make it more clear to other people, to explain it, to teach it from this type of limud. Others thought it was a different type of a limud. And but they all basically based on the Kabbalah that they had from their Rebbeim in general. Most of all the Torah is based on the Kabbalah that was passed on from Rebbe to Talmud in each generation. Okay, we'll get into things more.